It shouldn't be below your chin. It shouldn't be on your head like a hat. It shouldn't be like your mouth is showing, but your nose is covered, or your nose is covered and your mouth is showing. This is literally like, I see 5-year-olds in the store with their mask on correctly.
It's so cool to see you.
I feel like it's been so long. This is crazy.
It has been so long. It's been like a year?
That's weird.
Oh my gosh, what have you been up to?
Clerking.
Do you know what you're going to do next?
I am going to be working for the DA's office. So.
You are? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell me about why you were interested in being a prosecutor.
I grew up saying that I wanted to be a lawyer. My grandparents and family were like, yeah, do it. They ran with it, and they were definitely supportive because my family's always told all of the children in the family that they can do whatever they want to do. But being a prosecutor instead of a defense attorney really came, I think, probably around high school, when I learned just, I guess, discretion and power that prosecutors have in terms of choosing or understanding or really learning the best ways to handle themselves in terms of what they're going to file on, the arguments they can make, and really seeking justice in a way with the other side that is in everyone's best interest. And also, I never see, or I grew up not seeing any Black prosecutors in media and in shows and in movies. That's often what it is. There's often a Black criminal person and a white prosecutor and perhaps a person of color defender. And I feel like it was never really flipped until maybe recently, but I think that's what drew me in.
So do you have thoughts on Kamala Harris's background as a prosecutor?
I think her background is definitely going to be able to allow her to engage in conversations in ways that perhaps other people wouldn't necessarily be able to, when addressing things like police brutality and police reform and policy in general.
Curious about what your thoughts are about how the protest movement has evolved in Oregon over the last 3 months.
Even when I attended one of the first marches in late May, early June, I was really surprised at how many people were willing to stand present. And I think that's something that I've never seen growing up in this town, in this state at all, ever. I grew up going to marches, especially around Black History Month, but I've never seen that many people show up and be present and really want to be there and engaged in the process. I think because Portland has a larger population of people of color, including Black people and African Americans, that plays a larger role in their understanding in relation to police brutality, even in comparison to Eugene. And I think because Portland has a history with their police force as being particularly aggressive, that it's really hitting home for Portland in particular.
So when I was in Canada recently, Canadians kept asking me, do you think we should defund the police in the United States?
For me, I think it's problematic that you would have protests, I'll say pop up in terms of gaining national attention when people of color are murdered or killed unjustly. And there are specific cities that are able to gear up their police force as if they're going to war. I think is not a normal thing, and I don't think that's something that should be considered commonplace. I think it's weird to have protests over someone's death garner national attention, and then to see the very next day, within 24 to 36 hours, I'll say, an army tank rolling down a residential neighborhood. I don't think that's normal, and I don't think the police should be weaponized or militarized in that way. I think that is a waste of taxpayer money. I don't think there's ever going to be a need that I would ever say, yes, we need an army tank. There are specific cities that need army tanks for protests. I just don't know when you would ever think to yourself, instead of benefits for the people who put their lives on the line, and instead of training for the people who take an oath to protect and serve, let's buy police army tanks.
Right.
AKs. Like, I don't think there's ever a way that would cross my mind where that would take priority.
Well, I appreciate all your insight on these things.
Thank you for having me again. How do you think this year's gonna go, COVID-wise?
I don't know. I mean, more COVID. There will be more COVID, surely.
All I want people to do is sit down and wear their mask. It shouldn't be below your chin. It shouldn't be on your head like a hat. It shouldn't be like your mouth is showing, but your nose is covered, or your nose is covered and your mouth is showing. This is literally like, I see 5-year-olds in the store with their mask on correctly, not fidgeting, who are breathing fine. And there's people who have asthma, who are claustrophobic. I'm like, that's not the definition of claustrophobia, for one. For two, I also have asthma and I'm breathing just fine. Like, I don't understand. People are losing parents and family members and coworkers and neighbors. And I'm like, you think this was one giant TV show? You think people are burying their loved ones or saying goodbye over Zoom calls like as a joke? Like, I've seen stricter rules in schools with lice. Like, kids with lice, everyone in the classroom's got to get checked. Anyone who could have come in contact with that child, trading hats, everything becomes a thing. But with this virus, it's like, yes, we're going to reopen bars. Yes, you can have your hot wings in the restaurant. I'm like, no. All you had to do was sit at home. That's it.
See, we're like Jessica, we're so much more sophisticated operation than back in your day. I mean, we've gotten better. Because, like, turns out there's, like, not very much you can fix on the back end.